But now we're moving on to a question which I think we can all answer in some way, shape or form. Can you become working class, or is class something that you're born with? Now, the reason why we're asking is because the MP, Kemi Badenoch, who's in the running to be the next Tory leader, believes she has. Linda, can you become working class by working in McDonald's?
Back in the day, everyone wanted to work in McDonald's when it first came out. It was really popular, weren't it?
Yeah.
But no, I was born in the same area that I live in now. I've still got the same friends that I've had then. I'm never leaving that area because that's where my background and my history is. I love where I live, and just because I'm an actress or presenter doesn't mean I've changed I'm always going to be working class, no matter what you say. And I love being working class as well.
But would you...
My first job was an fish and chip shop.
Well, I'm gonna talk about what determines your class, like with the official determination.
Yes, I'm interested in the official determination.
Because I would argue that you have working class roots. I wouldn't necessarily say that you're working class now, but you have working class roots.
You're wrong. That never leaves you. I'm always going to be working class. I don't care what you say.
So. Spicy, Linda. So working class is used to describe people in a social class marked by jobs that provide low pay, require limited skill or physical labour. Typically, working class jobs have reduced education requirement. Unemployed people of those supported by a social welfare programme are often included in the working class. However, working class can also be defined by your culture, a close-knit community lifestyle, looking out for each other and protecting one another, etc., etc.
That's me.
So there are lots of different, but that doesn't... I mean, what do you think?
I mean, it's really interesting because I never really thought about it. And I did talk to Penny earlier because I would say a perfect example of this would be Rod, of a man who is obviously of means, has worked incredibly hard, but although I don't know him very well, would consider that he would say he was still a working-class lad.
From his heart, you know.
From his heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's what I would... It's like my husband, Lincoln, who has, you know, built himself up and he's a successful artist, and I'm very proud of him. It's fantastic. But at his heart, he's still the boy who lost his dad at 14 and had to go ride 12 miles a day on a bicycle to help feed his mum and dad. So I think he would still consider himself working class, but has worked hard to get where he is.
Can you become working class by working in McDonald's?
I really don't think so.
How long was he in there for?
I think that's called work experience, not working class.
I think what she should have said was, I became very aware of where I was in the world, and I became aware of what working class values were. I think it was... I don't know whether she meant it or whether she just sort of came out with
like
it.
a political thing.
It really does,
just
and
to
trying
kind of
to appeal to the working
yeah,
classes and stuff, which she's never going to do.
So, do you think we have an uncomfortable relation? I mean, we have a class system, but America doesn't have a class system. But the way that Americans talk about success, they're very proud of coming from poverty, building themselves up with money, and they're very proud of talking about themselves in that way.
And people pat you on the back.
Yeah. Whereas when we talk, there are a lot of people who probably live middle-class lives now but didn't grow up in a middle-class environment but feel uncomfortable about labelling themselves middle class.
I remember growing up and people would say to me, is your family rich? I'm like, no, we're not rich, but we can afford to go on holiday. And I always felt awkward about where I kind of placed myself in the world, in my community, with the kids around me. And my dad he came out of school with not very many... not educated. He didn't go to university, but he ended up working through the system from the age of 16 as a lawyer in the city, and ended up sort of being in the highest position you can until he retired. So really well. It's an awkward one, isn't it?
But it works in other ways. I mean, you could be a multi-millionaire, and they still wouldn't accept you in the upper classes and landed gentry.
Of course, with all the nouveau riche stuff.
It's not always about money. It's about...
Where have you come from?
Yeah,
I still don't know when you're at a dinner table and they've got all these knives and forks. I still don't know where to start.
On the outside in.
Penny's taught you. It's all sorted now.